Hey, my name's Kevin, and I just wanted to talk about my anxiety for the first time on YouTube. Pretty much as nervous as a pup trying to pass a peach nut. Um, anyways, when I was about, I don't know, 13, I started messing around, smoking a little marijuana with some friends that got into it. And, I didn't really like the high feeling at first, but then I got used to it. And so, a couple years passed, and one night we were all, everybody was smoking, and they passed a joint around, and I took a couple hits, and next thing you know, I'm not feeling good. I'm not feeling right. Uh, I had my first anxiety attack, and I had no idea what was going on. I tried jumping in the shower 5 times. I tried eating food to get the feeling to go away, and it wouldn't go away. I was just nervous wreck. So I went to sleep that night, woke up the next morning, and guess what? Still felt that same feeling. It was almost like I was still high, but now that, I look back at it, I was just still going through anxiety the moment that I woke up. And I learned further down the line that I was feeling depersonalization. And I had no idea at the time what anxiety was, what, depersonalization was. Um, so this is definitely not easy to talk about, being my first time. I am not a vlogger. I don't know how to do this, but I'm trying my best. I'm going to try and make it short and sweet. So, anyways, couple years passed, I felt better, after maybe 6 months or something, or a year, like kind of got used to it. Just went on with life, and about my senior year, you know, I got into games and paintball and all that stuff, so it kind of just, it goes away, after some time. And got into girls, senior year. Um, so, I felt like I was on top of the world, started, lifting weights and, you know, just feeling good. And then I ended up getting married to my wife, April, when we were about 20. And it was really good time in our life. Then we had our first child, and of course that was like the most nervous day of my life. Not anxiety, but just regular anxiety. And so that's our first child. And then after that, might have changed like a job, once or so, and had anxiety for, a couple days of non-sleep for that, but it kind of normal anxiety. Um, then I had an opportunity to go work for the casino up here, and it was a graveyard shift, and I never worked graveyard. And so I get the job, and start working graveyard. Well, if you have anxiety problems, or if you're an anxious person, that's not a very good idea to try to work all night and change your schedule, because next thing you know, insomnia kicks in and you're not going to be able to sleep and then get up and function and work. And so next thing you know, I'm trying to sleep, and I'm having to try and take sleeping pills or whatever. And then I wake up, and because I'm having anxiety so bad from not sleeping, that I start throwing up, and it just becomes like a bad cycle, to the point where I was done. I couldn't do it. And that was, when I learned that, that much change in life was not easy for me, or working nights while you're working graveyard wasn't something that I could handle with my, anxiety problem. So, I went back to work for my parents. They run a chimney outfit, and, I just got back to normal. It felt good going back to what I knew. And so it went away, helped along the, I think it was about, backtrack a little bit, when I was 17, I think maybe 18, I had developed OCD really bad, where I had to go back and, touch things, or I had to step on the line twice, or I had to, I'd tell myself like, oh, if I don't do that, if I don't go back and do that, then I'm not, today's, something's going to go wrong, or, oh, I better go back and touch it. Oh, I touched it. Well, I better go back and touch it one more time. So that, that was just, I didn't know why I was doing that, It just came out of nowhere, having all those ritual thoughts, run through your head. And so it was like, finally, after a year doing that or so, I just said, you know what, I'm done. I'm going to fight it. I'm not going to go back and touch that. I'm not going to have, and then, so I just make myself, like, okay, I'm not going to do it. I'd have to get mad and be like, whatever, like, I'm not going to go back and touch it. I'm not going to have those thoughts in my head. And I'd really want to go back and, repeat, but I would just keep myself, I wouldn't allow myself to do it. And eventually it just went away, cold turkey. I just told myself over and over, and then it just went away. So, time passed. We had our second child, and I don't know if it was the stress of adding more, second child to the plate, and worrying about like the future of work, and and then I kind of had a bad episode where it started my anxiety and just of stress, regular stress, and it wouldn't go away. And so I finally was like, you know what, I'm going to the hospital. I'm doing something. I can't do this anymore. Well, I went into the doctor, and they started me on, I think it was Lexapro. They started me with, they just gave me like a few, like the little starter kit that they had. But it was way back when before they had the generic, so it was too much money for Lexapro. So I was like, do you have anything else that's like a generic, And so they, I think they tried Zoloft, and it just didn't agree with me. I would take it, and within an hour I'd be like shaking like crazy and trying to sit in the work truck with my dad, and I couldn't sit still, and I was just a mess, and then so I was like, okay, I'll try it at nighttime, maybe that'll help with the effects. And I took it at night, woke up 4 hours later, 2 hours later, and my neck was on fire. Like, I didn't know what the hell was going on, so I get up and put a cold rag on my neck, and have my wife rub my back, and I'm just a mess, So after that, they switched me. I went back in, and knew that my sister or somebody had been on Celexa, and it worked for them. So I was like, can I get on that? Let my DNA or genetics are close to the same. That should work for me. And sure enough, I got on it, and they also gave me Ativan, 0.5 milligram little pills, to take when the anxiety was really bad, to get me through until the SSRI started working, the Celexa, and which I was actually getting a generic for Celexa, not really Celexa. citalopram. But I just like got better, and I didn't really think anything. I just like started getting better, and it's been so long. It's been 12 years since that happened, and I've had another child since then, and felt on top of the world. I've had moments where I've been like a little shook up, but not, no panic attacks, really, no no physical symptoms that come along with anxiety or panicking. So that leads me to feeling really great for 12 years. And then I had started a job that I had been with for 7 years now, working for the river, and it's went really good. When I first started the job 7 years ago, I had 2 or 3 days of anxiety because it was a change, but got over it and went to work. But they had always mentioned, flood patrol, and sometimes some guys have to work the night shift, and sometimes some guys have to work the day shift. And so in the back of my mind, I was always like deathly afraid of having to work the night shift because of what happened to me at the casino when I tried that. And I knew that was one of my triggers that would cause a problem. And so it finally came 7 years into it, and we had high water release, and I had to work nights. And so of course, I got myself all worked up thinking about working nights before I even started working nights. And I'm called the boss, like, hey, are you sure I have to do this? I'm already getting myself worked up and ready for anxiety. So it was like I was gonna make myself have it, because I just, that's the way it is. You get yourself so worked up over something that a regular person could just go and no problem. And I went in that evening. It was supposed to be 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. and so 12-hour shifts, and the next shift would take over. Well, anyways, I get in the truck with a coworker, and also we just drive around and gauge the water, see how high it is, make sure nothing's wrong. By 2 hours later, by 8 p.m., I was already anxietied out. I already had to panicked out. I had to get out of the truck 2 or 3 times already. I'm like, just don't know what the hell's going on with me. Like, why am I so bad already? It triggered myself. And so basically, I'm like, let the boss know, like, hey, I'm not doing good. This isn't, something's wrong with me. I'm freaking out. It was, so he's like, okay, well, and we'll switch it. I guess we'll switch it up for you. Well, then, of course, I feel like the worst person in the world because I can't do my job like I'm supposed to. And other coworkers that are even haven't been there just a couple years are doing it, or 6 months are doing it, and here I am, high on the chain, and I can't even, I can't do it. But it's because of my anxiety. I triggered myself, and I got myself so worked up, and you just feel like the biggest piece of crap in the world, and next thing you know, I'm like telling myself, okay, I'm gonna be back on days. They're putting me back on days. This will go away. Well, guess what? The anxiety didn't go away. The panic, the feelings didn't go away. I had myself so messed up in the head of thinking like the worst, about my job, about my kids and wife, and like I had myself so worked up that it wouldn't go away. So go to the doctor, and she's like, I told her, I was like, I don't think my medication's working anymore. My Celexa, I don't know if I got used to it or what, but and so a lot of that depression comes along with anxiety. So I was going through some depression too, of having the constant panic or the constant anxiety feeling, the adrenaline running through my body, making me feel sick. I could not wanting to eat a lot. So um, basically, she tried Paxil on me, the doctor, and tried to wean me off of Celexa, dropped me down from 40 to 20 milligrams, and so I was taking 20 milligrams of Celexa and 40 milligrams of Paxil, and I just felt absolutely horrible, like a walking zombie. And so I just like, I can't do it, like, so I got on 60 milligrams of Celexa, but you're not supposed to because it can cause your heart to have problems or whatever. And so I go and see an actual psychologist or whatever, psychiatrist, whatever, and he tells me, let's try Lexapro. And so I switched directly from the Celexa to 20 milligrams of Lexapro, and so far it's been 14 days, and it was really hard at first. I'm like, just all I can think of is, this stuff is like supposed to be the mirror image of Celexa. How's this going to work? But it is, 4 times stronger active, than Celexa, I guess. He's like, it should, I think it'll benefit you. And, all I think in my head is, how's it going to work when it's the same drug? But, I don't think it's exactly the same, but, 14 days in, and I was really, the side effects were, tiredness and blurry vision, headache, so I tried taking it at night, or not, tried changing up the times throughout the day to see what would work best for me. And right now I'm at like 6:30 in the evening, and it's working out pretty good. My anxiety levels are down. Right, they're down a lot more than they were. I'm eating a little bit more. I do, I have adrenaline rushes throughout the day, or like I have to tell my workers, hey, if I have to slow down, or if you see me like, not, looking good or whatever, just give me a minute, like take like a half of my Ativan. I don't like taking the full thing during the day because it just makes me too tired and too groggy and zombified. So, but I do take one every night for bed, and it works really good. So anyways, I don't want to go on too long with the first video. I just wanted you guys to have like a background history on me, and hopefully I'll make some more videos for you guys. But anyways, I'm a beekeeper, I have a couple hives, and see if I can show you guys here. Yeah, so anyways, started this hobby 3 or 4 years ago, and get my own honey, and it's really cool. I'm just working on myself, trying to stay positive. I can make a little shout out to some videos I was watching on YouTube. I think it's his name's Aaron's Anxiety, and kind of give me inspiration to start my own video and let you guys know my story. But yeah, just be careful, like if you you don't never know. Even marijuana can change your life, you know. And I'm gonna tell my children, you know, just be careful. And all right, well, you guys have a good day, and hopefully we'll be getting back to you.